Uh, we will try to get into the details. So my name is Chaitanya. So I have around 14 plus years of experience in complete SAP industry. From the last 8 plus years onwards, I've been working on success factors in different modules. But I mean specifically, I'm the onboarding subject matter expert. It's been around from the last way back in 2020 November, December. I believe this onboarding 2.0 was an entry in the market, and so before that even onboarding 1.0 used to be there. So right from there, so I've designed many solutions in onboarding 2.0 throughout the geographical locations and different domains. I provided the solutions in the onboarding module. So from the last 5 plus years, onwards, I've been training the people. So there are around 100 plus, candidates that we trained in our swag card on SuccessFactors onboarding module. So apart from this, I also, hold the certifications in different modules along with the onboarding, 2.0. So I'm Employee Central certified, and then I have this in the recruiting management. I have candidate experience, and then recruiter experience, certifications, RMK, etc., etc. So this is about myself. So before we get onto the session, I'm gonna walk you through the complete, onboarding module understanding. So usually in our Shiva Acad, we always look at the conceptual understanding instead directly injecting something into the candidate's brains of, oh, this is what is technology, this is what you're supposed to do, etc., etc. Let's talk about what is the onboarding process. Typically everybody would be in the assumptions that, okay, only on the joining day whenever you go there to any of the organization, we thought that that's only the onboarding process. But actually no, there are many steps which are involved in the onboarding process. So let's understand right from the traditional concepts first, and then we'll get onto the technology within our SuccessFactors onboarding 2.0 application. What are the automations that SAP is providing, how we are going to design the solutions to the customers, and all these parts, let's talk about it. So in between, slide by slide, when we go through, in case if you guys have any queries, you can always stop me in or raise your hand. Any query, we can talk about it. And also at the end of the session, we are gonna have the Q&A session, question and answers at end of the session also we're going to provide. So you can note down the points while we are talking about it, while we're discussing, so that at the end we can discuss. Or if you think that, okay, I may be forgetting at the end, so if you want to ask in the mid also, you can always raise your hand. Okay, yeah. So thank you so much. Are you guys all ready to go? Yes, no?
Yes.
Yes,
That's
Shiva.
fantastic.
Yes, Shiva.
Super, super. So keep interacting, guys. Okay. So please be on mute, but keep interacting. Let's talk about it. Any query, anything. So the agenda for today's onboarding, demonstration session is going to be, let's first know what is the complete end-to-end onboarding process. Okay. In any of the company, what is it exactly in the traditional process? Forget about technology for some time. In the traditional process, what does it happen? How does the process, and what are the challenges usually, just to get to know. Okay. So, and uh, guys, there is somebody with the name called MNTV, the username, who joined in this session. Please acknowledge your details to our team. Okay, I've already mentioned that in the chat. Please, in order to continue with the session. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so first, let's know about the domain process, the traditional process of our onboarding. Okay, so post which, let's talk about the dependency module understanding. Okay, for example, usually in success factors within the talent management modules, right from recruiting and to employee central. I mean, right after all the recruiting process, once the candidate applies for the job, selection process, offer process, everything gets completed. Candidate comes to, collection of all these details through this onboarding process. And then at the end, in the employee central, okay, so all this data is go and then get stored. That's our payroll system, the employee central core. Okay. So if you want to become an onboarding consultant, okay, definitely you must know the understanding of both these modules, because whenever you are at the project, so usually in our Shiva Acad, our specialization is that we also talk about the dependencies and challenges when you're at the customer place, what kind of problems usually that you would get it. So when you're at the customer, let's say the recruitment module might have been implemented maybe well in advance, or employee central core might have already implemented before our onboarding module. In such cases, if those consultants are not there, being onboarding consultant, you must be able to resolve the dependent module related queries also on your own. That's our guarantee that we are gonna get you that understanding of the dependency module. Okay, so that's one. So this onboarding 2.0 training meaning is that it's like partially we are going to cover at least some 30-40% of understanding of the recruiting module. I mean, whichever is the dependent understanding that the candidates require. Okay. And onboarding 2.0 is fully on the SuccessFactors Employee Central platform that is being built. Okay. So you must also know there's SuccessFactors employee central stuff also, which means by the end of the session, I mean end of our onboarding 2.0 module training, you would be able to get to know, you would be able to be familiar with the recruitment module and employee central. This is like huge training. Usually don't think that only onboarding 2.0 we're gonna get you covered over here. Okay, next. So from the recruiting module, what are the prerequisites, what kind of understanding you require, and EC side, what are the prerequisites and what kind of understanding you require. In some places, okay, you are going to get some offers also. What are those offers? Some customer places, they don't have any of the other success factors applications. Okay, let's say they don't have recruiting, they don't have employee central. They would only want to they would only they want to go ahead with the onboarding 2.0, let's say. That's called standalone, only onboarding implementation. In such cases, yes, the show is going to be a little crazy. Even for that also, right from EC side, what you are supposed to do, everything. And because 2.0 is completely now on the platform of onboarding, employee central 2.0, we call it as now onboarding 2.0 is a one of the BizX modules, business execution suite, BizX meaning. Okay, so which means now on the SF SuccessFactors platform, now SAP platform. Earlier, onboarding 1.0, SAP has bought that module from a company called KMS, which is a third-party application. That application has been connected with SuccessFactors using this WebLogic servers, and we used to work accordingly. Now there is no connection, nothing. Directly you can log in SuccessFactors and you can design a solution for your customers. Okay, so if you are supposed to implement only standalone onboarding, what you are supposed to do, that also will cover. And then followed by our interlinked modules within the onboarding, offboarding and crossboarding also we are going to cover. Usually what it happens, what are the process steps are involved over here. And finally, within the technology of SuccessFactors onboarding 2.0 application, what all that we are going to do. This also I would make you understand with concept. You don't have to remember any of the technical terms. Trust me, I'm going to make it easy for you. Okay. So is that clear? All good to go? Yes, no?
Yes, Chaitanya.
Yes, Chaitanya.
Yes, yes.
I really appreciate you guys' energy. Thank you so much. Okay. So in between any query, anything, you can always stop me. Okay. In between, or you can raise your hand. And maybe some of you might not have come from or might not be aware of the SuccessFactors background. Even for that also, nothing to worry. I'm gonna help you with the basic concepts and very easily to be understood. Okay. So the first one in our agenda, the traditional process of onboarding in any of the company, what happens usually, being employees or being maybe somewhere we might have worked and in our career. So we have some kind of kind of assumption that only on the joining day, whatever happens, that's onboarding. Usually, that's not the onboarding. I mean, in the traditional process, actual onboarding process, when it gets started and what it happens, what are the gaps, let's talk about it. Post recruiting process, okay, which means when the aspirant applies for a job in any of the company through their company portal or in Naukri, anything, okay. So once their resume gets shortlisted by the recruiters of the company, okay, and after the shortlisting uh, stuff happens, next the recruiter is going to schedule the interview rounds, first level, second level, third level, maybe in persons, telephonic, virtual, anything, okay. Once all the interview rounds have been completed, let's say they are going to go to the this I mean, after all the chat discussions, this offer approval process happens. I mean, from the internally, whatever the numbers that they discussed between the candidate. Sorry sorry anyone have any query? Okay, yes, that's all. If no queries, please be on mute. Yeah, thanks. So once that offer acceptance um, process, I mean, all the process completed, once the offer gets released to the candidate, okay, let's say he's selected, all the selection process completed. Now, offer gets released to the candidate. Once candidate goes through all the details, and in between, manually recruiter follows up, hey, we sent you an offer, please have a look, and then please share your acceptance or confirmation from you. If the candidate is okay, they would share the confirmation. So right from here, once the offer is accepted, usually what happens in our domain scenario, in the manual process, once in a while, the recruiter, after 1 week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, that they're going to follow up, hey, hope everything is going well. Why this follow-up? Just to make the candidate warm, so that they would not go ahead with any of the other offers, and to make the candidate comfortable. Hey, this company is really doing good. They're really following up well. I mean, following up well with the candidate. They're really treating well. In some of the companies, some product development companies, some well-reputed companies, what they do in between, once the offer accepted, usually in their current company, they resign for the opportunities. I mean, they resign for their current role by the candidate, and they would be serving the notice period. So in some well-reputed companies, product development companies, what happens is that they'll schedule some discussions in coffee day, something like that, by the concerned manager to whom that they're going to report, once they join in this organization. So this manager, they would just give them, hey, these are our projects, these are our domains, we're going to do this, we're going to implement this feature, and then that project, etc., etc., we are in these many, geographically we are located, etc., etc. So let's give them some kind of, to make the candidate feel comfortable, some kind of, the feel good factor that they've created. And in some companies, let's say after 1 month, something. Yeah, Ajay, you raise your hand. Any query? You can unmute yourself if you have anything.
No, no, you can continue. I just checked.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, nice, nice. Okay. So, in some of the companies, they're going to send these waivers, kind of the company mugs or company t-shirts, etc., etc. These are all engaging activities, okay, usually. Okay, this is how that they're going to engage. So once everything is done, when the joining day approaches, okay, so there would be at least a week before or 2 3 days before, this venue details sharing happens, right? So this is where that you're supposed to come, and you're gonna come back over here. So usually what it happens over here, okay, the main challenges, even though I mean, the candidates, when they come for joining, they may not be able to find out the venue details, or may the with a security check, they may have some queries, because the security people will not be posted that so and so candidate is coming for joining. Once you enter into the premises, you don't know, for example, if you come by bike or a car, you don't know where to park your vehicle and where to go, etc., etc. And once you go to the reception or the front office, the lobby area, then your point of contact details, whomever that has been given, so their numbers would not be, reachable, and you'd be waiting over here. And in between of these engaging activities, there's follow-ups also, there's meeting scheduling and sending the mugs, t-shirts. Sometimes if the recruiters forgets, etc., etc., or the admin people or the whoever are supposed to do that, if they forget it, and there would be delay, the follow would be missed, etc., etc., and all that. And um, even in the once everything is goes well and you are in the orientation room, let's say the joining room, there what happens on the first day, Usually some people they try to they carry all the documents. Sometimes there are high chances that you may forget something also, high chances. Okay, and once you go in there, you never know how your day is planned, at what time, what meetings are there. You are like, you don't have a foresee, you don't have a roadmap that what you're going to do. And they will be giving those documents, they'll ask you to sign. And there are many, there's NDA related policy documents like 4 pages, 5 pages, 10 pages, something like that, and some policy related documents, etc., etc., and the appointment letter or something. So you would not be able, you would not have enough time to go through all those terms and conditions, etc., etc. And the signing part also all manual. Okay, and the HR people, they are supposed to gather all those documents and then they are supposed to keep it in some files. That file storage also would grow very bigger at one point of time. Okay, and once everything is done on the joining day, this the team that you're going to work with, the colleagues that you're going to work with, you yourself, you'll have to go and then introduce themselves. Or the HR people sometimes say, see so and so person and he's joining. That's okay, but you guys would not know that what is your profile or what are their profiles, what are their skill set, what are their experiences, etc., etc. And once after that, your laptop allocation will take 2 days, 3 days after you're joining, which means like 3 days of your the time. Okay, the productivity is gone. And no tracking also, manually they'll have to send the emails to the IT people or the admin teams to arrange the desk, etc., etc. And the managers also would not be aware that when you are joining exactly, even after you're joining also, unless the HR person would take you to the manager would not be posted. So all this delay would happen, and the manual gaps in the onboarding process manually, that this is what happens usually. Trust me, with our SuccessFactors onboarding 2.0 application, you're going to make wonders, which means all these gaps, this is onboarding process. Okay, all these gaps well in advance, keeping all the stakeholders posted. Let's say within the onboarding, who are all the participants, recruiters, onboarding coordinators, managers, HR people. Main is the onboarding candidate or a new hire, we call it as. So we have a concept called email services in our SuccessFactors onboarding 2.0 application that would keep the people posted. Our application would send the on time emails. It tracks up all the informations. The candidate well in advance before the joining day only, while serving the notice period, at the candidates is whenever they find time, they can enter the details online only on the application. They can submit their documents online only on the application. They can sign the documents in the SuccessFactors onboarding application. So no manual intervention, no signing manually. Even the organizations also, they do not have to carry any of your manual documents anywhere. Everything is going to be on the cloud. That's the beauty of our SuccessFactors onboarding 2.0 application. So now you are familiar with what is onboarding. Oh, these many challenges are there, these many experiences are, because I came from the HR being in way back around 10 years back. Okay, my first the domain experience was in HR. I know the challenges usually. Okay, so with our onboarding to our application, we can overcome all these challenges by designing a exact solution. Guys, in between any query, you can always stop me. So now within our SuccessFactors onboarding application, in order to, there are certain steps, okay, that the SAP has provided in our SuccessFactors onboarding application. They designed these steps. Okay, so you may not have an idea on all what are these steps. I'm not aware of. I'm gonna give you, let's, you can forget the names also. I'll give you the concept. What does this step meaning? If you remember that concept, you can easily remember this. And using these steps within our onboarding 2.0 application, the domain related challenges, how we are going to overcome. Okay, that we can discuss about it. So let me just log into the system once. Okay, so that I can also show you those steps over the system. Just give me a moment. I'm just logging in. Okay, perfect. Yeah, Pritesh.
Yes, sorry, Chetan, sorry to interrupt.
No worries,
Before
please.
Yeah, before we go into this system, just I have few concern regarding this 2.0. So earlier you told that for 2.0 we this our EC and RCM model both are it's linked to
Mhm,
onboarding 2.0. So someone
mhm.
who is not certified in RCM or something, then is there be any challenges for them in the real time?
You do not have to be certified in RCM for this. For the on in order to become an onboarding consultant. If you are certified in onboarding 2.0 and employee central core, that is going to be enough. You don't have to be certified. And second thing, usually in many places, only the onboarding training they would provide and leave the people. So here, though you have been enrolled for the onboarding training, the dependent module understanding also we are going to give you so that you will not face any hiccups at the project time. Do not worry, we are going to make you comfortable all that. But certification is not required for the recruiting. Very simple. You only required the dependent module understanding what it happens over there. And this one is also not mandatory. Please underline this point. Which one is not mandatory? RCM understanding and etc. But since we are experienced and what kind of problems that usually that they would face, if the RCM consultant is when they are not available, only then that you would have some kind of issues. But usually whenever you're working with, let's say you're working with IBM, you have a SuccessFactors team. Within that SuccessFactors team, you are going to have RCM people, onboarding people, employee central, performance, compensation. You are going to have the people. You can always take their help, not to worry. But in our training, we are going to cover that. That is what I'm trying to tell you so that you don't have to depend on anybody. That is what is our statement meaning. Clear?
Okay. Yeah, and one more query that
Yeah.
this onboarding will also integrate with EC or RCM, right? So the integration happened. So when the smart recruiter it's replacing RCM, so is there
Mhm.
be any impact in the future for this?
It is going to have a lot of time in the picture. Okay, when the SAP is offering such things, the integration tools, etc., etc., SAP is going to introduce it. At that time, there would not be any kind of impact because the new tools that what they're going to give as of now, we have a tool called Recruit to Hire data mapping here. Okay, let's say uh, Recruit to Hire data mapping. This is a connection tool. Maybe some permissions missing. Just give me a minute. Let me proxy as the admin. So what I meant to say, the impact, these questions, let's park it at the end because better not to. So the first question is really valid. So the impact, if you ask, whenever that they're in place, the smart recruiters, they're going to give you the connection related tools, how to connect that smart recruiters with our onboarding system that they're going to share. As of now, we have a tool called Recruit to Hire data mapping. This is the tool. This is where that we will connect both the systems. I mean the recruiting system and then the onboarding system. This is where we do the mapping. See, from the employee central to recruitment template, how we are covered the start date, job information, person related information, compensation, address details. In case anything you are collecting in recruiting module, all those details we are going to integrate it over here. In the smart recruiters, they're going to give some other tool probably. So in such cases, you with that tool you can integrate. I mean you can connect the system, recruiting system to onboarding. That's not a problem. Clear?
Yeah. So this onboarding tool, it's only integrated with.
We can discuss at the end also. Nothing to worry.
Okay,
Okay.
sure.
So,
Okay, okay, thanks.
sorry, onboarding tool.
Yeah, onboarding tool, it's integrated to only to RCM or any other tools like EC and other tools.
Recruiting is the source module. Onboarding is in the mid. Employee central is the end. So you can integrate on, for example, recruiting is not there for your customer that you are implementing. They have some other S4 HANA system, some other Oracle system. Even with that also, you can integrate with onboarding. So third party systems we can integrate, recruiting system we can integrate because source data is coming from recruiting to onboarding to once the on the joining day, all this data will go and sit in employee central platform. Since that's the payroll system, that is where the employee profile will get created with all that data that we collected from the recruiting and then the onboarding. So this is the pie. This is the circle. You can integrate
Okay.
with any of the third party systems also. That also we will cover third-party integrations, how we are supposed to do with the combination of integration consultants and etc. etc. Okay, yeah. So we can discuss even at last also, guys. This is how that the onboarding system. I mean, this is how the success factor system we look like. We will log in, and how to get these login details. How do we get the access to the system? How do we give the permissions? Everything in our training that we are going to cover it. Okay, what is backend system called provisioning? What is front end system called instance or a BizX suite? Everything that we are going to discuss in detail. That's okay. Since now I'm supposed to show you how the system look like. This is how, when you from the home menu, when you select onboarding, this is called the onboarding dashboard. All the candidates, uh, after the selection process completed, once the recruiters initiate the onboarding from the recruiting module, this is how the candidate is going to come and sit in over here. So from here in this dashboard, people whomever that we gave the access to see this dashboard, and people who are supposed to work, those onboarding coordinators or HRs, we will give them the access on each candidate. They will click like this and they'll see the details over here. And then from here onwards that they'll work. Okay, what steps to be triggered and what data to be seen, etc. etc. from this dashboard. So the pipeline one, just now that I mentioned that, just now I showed you a screenshot called SCP has given certain steps in the onboarding process. This is called process variant manager. There is a tool in onboarding 2.0. Guys, you don't have to remember, this is just a demo class. I want you to be familiar where exactly it happens. In our session, we are going to cover in detail what it does and everything. So there is a default process that is being offered by the SCP. Okay. So these are the steps that just now in the screenshot that I've shown you in our demonstration PowerPoint deck. Okay. So what are these steps usually? Now domain process we discussed, the challenges, etc. So these are the steps that SAP has been offered. Within these steps only, we will have to define the process for your each customer. Okay, so the first step is going to be in our SuccessFactors Onboarding 2.0 application, review new hire data. Okay, what is this review new hire data? Once all the selection process completed from the recruiting, right? So they are going to initiate the onboarding from there. Let's say once offer acceptance also has been given by the candidate. So that now, right from tomorrow or day after, while the candidate is serving the notice period, they can fill in their details within this 1 month, 2 months, 3 months until their joining day. Okay. So review new hire data step is meaning is that, since, let's say, I'll give you the concept. Now this, you just try to remember that. Candidate, uh, let's say there is a division called some accounts division. So you have been selected for that position in the accounts department or a division. Okay. So there is a manager, right, for each department, divisions, etc. etc. So the manager will be having the access in the success factor system. When the recruiting process gets completed, when the candidate is available in the onboarding process, manager will get a notification that, hey, so and so candidate is available for the onboarding, which means their selection process gets completed, offer accepted. Now the candidate is going through the onboarding process. The manager will have an information. So the manager can review the information of a candidate. So which means why they should review the manager. So for which department, for example, I'm Chaitanya, I am taking care of 3 to 4 departments, and those departments are located in different locations also. Okay, so for which location is he joining? Is he joining for the let's say Bangalore or a Mumbai or Hyderabad or Delhi? Which location? And which department? Is it accounts? Is it admin? Is it HR? Which department they are joining? And what is his personal details? What is his skill set? What is his experience? They might have already interviewed in the beginning, but all his personal details, etc., etc. The manager, I mean, this application is giving a chance to the HR people or a manager people to review their information. Now you understand why we call this step called review new hire data. This is why review is required. See, I can directly name this and then go to they'll review the data over here. I can name it and then I can go ahead with the next step. No, Shiva Accord way of understanding is completely different. Okay, so this is called reviewing. Second concept I'll tell you. Since the data is coming from one module, for example recruiting module, the data is coming, since that is a source system, to the onboarding. So whoever is reviewing the data can be onboarding coordinators, can be managers, can be HR people, anybody. Let's say whether the joining date is correct or not, okay, or whatever the information, some kind of corrections are there also. So you can always correct in this review new hire data. That is called the step meaning. Okay, next, personal data collection. Once this is done, there will be a notification which will go to candidate to log in the SuccessFactors system. In that notification, which means in that email, we are going to provide them, I mean there is a I'll show you how it is. There is a link to log in and to reset the password. Once they reset the password, they can log in, and then the candidate, the new hires, can start filling up all their personal information. What is this personal information? Let's say his biographical, his family related, and his national IDs, emergency, contact related stuff, his address details, whatnot, is work permit related information. Okay, global information, whichever is required, all that information he can enter at his ease. The candidate, whenever they feel free. Okay, they don't have to be in hurry. No first day hiccups, no first day gaps, nothing. This is called personal data collection. In our session, I'm going to in detail how to configure this, what are the ways to configure different, I mean, even the live scenarios related experience also I'm going to share. Usually while you are configuring, what kind of challenges that you are going to face, how the customer is going to ask the questions for that, etc., etc. Next is additional onboarding data collection. What is additional onboarding? Apart from the HR related information, I mean, the employee profile related information, like this personal, biographical, national address, or the dependents information, emergency, work permit, all this, company, the organization where you're going to join, they're going to offer certain uh, kind of benefits to the joiners, to their employees. Okay. For example, let's say if the company has a daycare facility. So when you are joining, when you are going there to the work, to the organization, you can take your kids and then drop in over there in the uh, daycare facility if you're utilizing. So unless your work is done, there are people, they will be taking care of your kids. And when you log off, you can get your kids and then go back home. Or in some of the, let's say, some kind of blue collar employment related companies, for example some factories, etc., etc., if they have some uniform related, because they're going to offer some uniforms, etc., etc., so well in advance you can collect the information, what kind of measurements that they uh, require that uniform. Is it small, medium, XL, the shirt size, pant size, shoe sizes, etc., etc., you can gather it. So if not, the parking, if you're opting for it, when you come, since you're going to join the company, and every day when you come for work, if you have to park your vehicle, on the first day when you go there, your slot will be ready. There are going to be details. These are called additional onboarding details. So whenever you call additional, remember these features. It's very easy. In the interview also, wherever somebody asks, right after this demonstration session, you can always talk about the onboarding 2.5. If somebody asks you, this is what is onboarding, I'm paka sure. Okay. Yes, I Prasad.
So,
Sai.
Chaitanya, hi.
Yeah.
So you mean to say that admin related things can be tracked over here, like let's say ID cards, and then
Any benefits, not only
right.
admin, any benefits you can, in
Okay.
the additional onboarding data collection, we can configure for the customers. So
So
well in
which can be
advance.
used for admin related as well, if I'm not wrong.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes, you're right. Yeah.
Okay. Like
So
a medical health checkups.
anything,
Okay.
any apart from the HR related, that's why I said, and apart from the
Hmm.
HR related information, any other information you can use it. Just for an
Okay.
example, I gave you 3 to 4 examples. That's it.
Got it. Got it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice. Thank you. Now, document flow. So I told you on the first day, you would not be able to go through the documents. There are 10 pages, 15 pages, all the NDAs, policy related documents, and on every paper you are going to sign manually, etc., etc., all that. So well in advance, while serving the notice period by the candidate, whenever they have time, nicely one document after another, one after the other, so they can keep filling the information. I mean, they can just go through each and every terms and conditions whichever is there. So using our onboarding cloud application, we can make the people to, we can make the candidates to sign the form. We have two concepts for the signature, that is embedded standard signature process, electronic signature process, which is being offered by the SAP. That's definitely been authorized by the governments also. And in case if some customers are not comfortable, etc., etc., there is another document signature software called DocuSign. So with, but for this, client requires license. They'll have to buy on their own. But if they want to use the embedded signature, they can use the standard signature process, which is being offered by the SAP. Okay. So all this first day work, you are saved. Yeah. Anyone have any query?
Yes, Sai
Yeah,
here,
go
Jay.
on. Go on, go on. Yeah.
So let's say for EPF, the
Mhm.
government accepts the physical signature, right? It doesn't accept any kind of DSCs or DocuSign and all.
See, that's
So
country to country, it may be different. So that is up to them. If there's
Hmm.
something is required manually, we can manually also prepare the forms. That's not a problem.
Okay, so there is
We
an
can,
option where the employee can upload the manual signature.
no, manual
Right?
signatures, they cannot upload it. What we can
Okay,
do, we can automate that form into our system. So we can ensure that all the details will go and map, will sit in the form. So they can take a printout on that day, simply one signature. They can
okay,
manually,
okay.
they can do that. So they don't have to fill every information again, because all the
Alright.
information is being collected in the application using
Okay,
success
okay.
factors. Their first name, last name, email ID, personal details, address, everything. Automatically, these details will go and sit in the form. They can take a printout on that day, and they can get it signed.
I get
That's
that.
how you can, we can,
You mean to say that
that
whatever fields are there in the form will be integrated over here. Just
exactly.
the employee will fill all the details, will take a print, take a signature, and submit to the government.
So they don't have to fill in on the form again, because however they're filling,
That is
they are
what it
collecting
will
the
be filled in
information
the
on the online.
application, right?
Exactly.
Application they'll
So
be filling.
automatically we can make it mapped, or we can make it sit over there using, we have a tool
Mm-hmm.
called Adobe Lifecycle. There is a form designing software which is free, but Adobe is little. I mean, they may have to buy one. Otherwise, ADLC, Adobe Lifecycle, which is free, so we can get the forms designed, and then
Mm-hmm.
on that day, HR people, they'll take a printout. On that form, already details are there. Their first name,
Okay.
last name, email ID, address details, everything. Simply candidate will sign at the end. But
Mm-hmm.
maybe in India it is like that. But if it is US, if you take Australia, etc., they would accept this DocuSign. And if my
Okay.
guess is right, even for India, DocuSign might have already been taken that authorization also. Maybe in the recent past, something might have changed also. That's what I meant to say.
Okay. Got
Clear?
it. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So next one is compliance forms. So what is these forms, document flow? What is compliance? Just one variation, simple. Country related legal forms, simple to mention. Compliance forms meaning country, that specific country related legal forms. For example, if you take US, there is a form called I-9. There is a form called E-Verify. This E-verification has to be done through the web. So, so for that, the SCP has already, given certain standard compliance forms over here. For example, let's say, let me just show you over here. Compliance settings is the tab that we have it over here. So in this, SAP now India is also has been added. Earlier there were only 5 to 6 countries, for example, Canada, New Zealand, US, UK, Australia. These are the Spain, etc. Now India, Japan, see all these also have been added. So slowly SAP would give you for the other countries also, nothing to worry. So they are working on it, because onboarding 2.0 still it is a developing module, because it's a new one. Earlier 1.0 used to be there, right? Now 2.0. So they would be keep adding it. And you may have a question, what about the other country where their forms are not listed in this? There is a concept called compliance bundle, which is from the managed data. We are going to discuss it. Even that also, you can make one of these forms like that, but for that little coding is required. But I'll tell you, we don't have to worry about it. That's not a big deal. Okay. So this is where, for example, let's say if I click on United States, right? simple toggle buttons to on. As per your customer, if they have USW4 state withholding forms, you will switch it on. If not, you don't switch it on. So, okay, everything you'll talk to the customer while you are collecting the requirements. If they require this functionality, we will enable it on. And then there are certain business rules for that and how to enable, and we can nominate the people who would be verifying the information, verifying design and information. And some forms candidate should sign, some forms the HR people also from the organization side, they should sign. For that also, we can make this signature concept and we can trigger it to the people to get the, to gather the signatures from the people. So usually this is the difference between this document flow and then compliance forms. So document flow, if there are any custom forms also, for example, let's say I gave you an example. The security people may not be aware that who is coming for the joining on that day. If the admin people, if they forget to post the security team, they may not have an idea, so they would question the people, you're coming here. They may show those venue details, email or something like that. But well in advance, we can keep the people, security people also posted about it. For that, you can prepare a custom form. For example, let's say entry form. In that, they'll have candidate first name or candidate full name, or the candidate, let's say the contact details or the offer letter confirmation and the joining date, etc., etc. So we can make that form using this document flow concept, that custom form, using the Adobe Lifecycle software. There is a tool, I'll tell you in our training in detail, and we can prepare a form, and then we can get it, that form automatically to be printed. Nobody will fill the form. The details are already there in the online application. All we will do is that we will map that data with that form. Automatically this data will go and sit in that form. HR people nicely, they'll take a printout and give it to the HR team. Or maybe one notification you can make it with that form to go to the people if they have the systems using. So they'll have an information, so and so candidate is coming today. So it's easy. So document flow mostly for custom, compliance forms mostly for the country related forms. Simple, clear? Now, yes, I.
So let's say that companies will have multi-level of approval things, right? Where exactly that is covered in this stage, Chaitanya? Let's say first, HR will raise the onboarding request or something like that. So as per my understanding, so personal data collection, manager will be able to see all the data. Sorry, review hiring data, right? So
Okay.
manager will be able to see when the candidate is joining, where the candidate is joining, all the details. So in our company, there are multiple level of approvals are required before onboarding any candidate. Let's say first the manager will review, post his approval, it goes to IT team for creating all the assets. Then it goes to corporate head. Then it goes to the CEO for the approval. So do we have any kind of a process flow here where the approval flow is created?
Usually in the onboarding, I don't know in your organization,
Mhm.
we have there is a concept to raise the workflows, but usually in onboarding, once the candidate is there, so what approvals that you gather it? Can you just tell me that? One thing is sure that, for example, let's say review new hire data. For example, if it's not supposed to be triggered to the manager, if it's supposed to be triggered to the only HR people, so
Right.
we can control this. There is a business rule concept. Okay, let's say uh, configure business rules. This configure business rules is a common platform for Employee Central, and all the SuccessFactors module people, they use this tool, business rules admin. So using this business rules concept, there is a, for example, let's say HM review check. Let's say all the ONB2, let's filter it. This rule is the owner for that first step. So we can ensure whether this step is supposed to be triggered, or is it supposed to be triggered to the manager? Is it supposed to trigger to the HR people? You can control this. The first step, whom it is supposed to be triggered. That's how it is. And second thing, personal data. So if it is supposed to be triggered to the candidate, right? Because there is no other variation for that. Candidate only should fill in the information. For that, the business rules engine is available. So usually in the onboarding, workflow mechanism is very rare. That is one. Second thing, there is a concept called email services. Okay.
Okay.
In this, You can route that, you can make the people notified of using this. You can make there are already around 100 plus standard notifications SAP has already been given. Apart from that, any custom notifications also you can do that. Workflow is mostly for the recruiting and employee central and PMGM, compensation, all those models. Within the onboarding, workflow requests are very rare. Trust me, because I have done many implementations in onboarding. Very rare,
Mhm.
actually, workflow. You can give me real-time
Okay.
scenario. I'm going to answer that. That's not a problem. Like
Okay.
what kind of
So,
workflow and etc. etc. But there is a concept called business rules engine. With that, we can control whom to go, where to go, when to go, etc. And there are certain notifications. And let's say after reviewing
Email
new
comes.
hire data,
Mm.
there should be an email which should go to the IT team. Hey, so and so person is joining. Get the laptop ready. You can do that using that.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
That's the mechanism that we are going to have it. Clear?
So the reason why I've asked is like
Yeah.
related to audit, right? So we have signed an agreement with one of a company where they expect us to take a multiple level of approvals for relate bit recruitment, bit onboarding, right? So we require multiple level of approvals. So that is
Mhm.
where I thought of checking. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. See that maybe you may be interlinking onboarding with those approvals. Those
Mm.
audit related from employee center also there is a concept called workflow related stuff. You can nicely let's say if you mentioned right, manage workflow related thing. See workflow requests from here. You can make all those workflow requests because now it is common.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's how it is.
Okay.
Yeah, so now this last step is called primary new hire tasks, guys. What is this primary new hire tasks? So I gave you in the domain experience while I'm talking about it, right? I gave you certain understanding. Let's say recruiters, they may forget to follow up with the people, or they may forget to there's mugs or the company t-shirt, something like that. They may forget to say hi, or they may forget to schedule the meetings with their managers, maybe well in advance, something like that. So there's venue details sometimes, because manually they'll go to these Excel sheets and they'll say Control FA, I'll find out who are all people today they're joining, or next week they're joining. I'll have to send these emails. If they're busy, high chances that they're gonna miss it. Okay, and this parking information or etc. etc. All there would be many hiccups in this. So using these tasks, okay, there is a concept called okay manage onboarding and offboarding tasks. Okay, using this we can make the people engaged. For example, right after the first, when the candidate logs into our success factor system to fill in the details, we can send a manager's let's say welcome message. For example, welcome note, you can send it. Okay, this is a welcome note. And you can assign a buddy. For example, let's say being Chaitanya, I'm joining in let's say some wells for some company. So on my joining day, whom to contact? There should be a buddy for me. Why buddy? You should ask that question. Never ever stick to a buddy. No, don't go. Why buddy? So I'll shake my hand. Let's say the buddy will come and they'll shake their hand with me, and then they say, hey, I'm so and so, I've been assigned for a buddy, feel free, talk to me. Say this is where your restroom, this is where is cafeteria, so you come and just pick uh, a cup of coffee, something like that. And this is where HR people sit, this is where your team sit, I'm gonna sit it over here anytime, come back, feel free, discuss. It's like a very very good interaction. So recommend people for new hires. What is this? So for example, I'm gonna join in some accounting team. In the accounting team, there are some five people. Let's say some Rakesh. Rakesh is a person that he has these many years of experience in account general ledger, account payable, etc. etc. He's specialized in this. This is what is personal stuff kind of thing. So this data will go and present on the candidate's portal. I mean, when the candidate login, hey, these are your colleagues are gonna be. Just say hi. So when I go for the joining, it's very easy. Hey, you are Rakesh, right? Or you are Tom, right? You're Robert, right? Or this is what, okay, you no introduction required, nothing required. Just okay, because I know you. This is what your specialization. This is what it is. Likewise, you can refer the people. Okay, and you can give the checklist, or they can give maybe well in advance how you are supposed to, come ready to the organization. like you should come in formals, you should carry these documents, etc., etc. And we can refer some links also. Let's say there are some policy documents which are available on your company portal. You can give that link. Hey, just go through this policy document. This is where your workplace ethics, or this is where your dress code policy, etc., etc., something like that. And on the first day, there are some list of meetings on the first day. 9 o'clock orientation, 10 o'clock introductions, let's say some 12 o'clock lunch, 2 o'clock, let's say a meeting with your manager, something like that. And this venue details. Using this, there would be a map also which will go and sit in the candidate Gmail. So you can use that map to track down our venue details. And laptops requesting, etc., etc. All this using these tasks, we can do that. We can just make a task trigger to the IT team, and then they can work on it. We can decide when should this go. Let's say 15 days before the candidate joining, the email should go, and then a task should get triggered to the people. So on their home page, when they log in, the IT people, they'll have this thing. Hey, there should be a you've got a task that the laptop has to be ready. So once a candidate joining after, I mean, this is the joining date, etc., something like that. So these are called tasks. Using that, these are called engaging activities. Automation, no gaps, no hiccups, nothing. This is how the onboarding the application. So these are the steps only we will be roaming around, okay, for every customer. So these steps are customizable also. Some customers will say, hey, I don't require revenue hire data, that's fine, our managers are very damn busy, I'm not they're not going to do this, so let's not do this. So you can remove this step for that customer. Or within the same company only, they may have different processes also. Let's say white collar one process, blue collar one process, or let's say same company, they're located in India, America, Australia, something like that. So America people, they require some other process. India people require, so you can make these alterations using the, I'll tell you in the configurations what to do and everything. So there is a business rule concept also on this. So these is the onboarding, within the onboarding that we got the steps, guys. So now even if you go out of the demonstration session also, you can talk about onboarding. Remember the examples, concept, simple. If you don't remember the names also, I'm absolutely okay. Nothing to do with the definitions, the book definitions, nothing to do with that. Okay. Now, within the onboarding, there is a process flow. So you can see the diagram over here. Usually, who are the stakeholders are part of it? Recruiters, hiring managers, maybe new hires, admins, HR people, whatnot, everything. So in this, let's say the recruiting people, they initiate the onboarding over here. Next step, as I shown, review new hire data. Hiring manager or the HR people, whomever that we make it trigger, those people, they can review it. And there is a notification also which will get sent to the candidate. Okay. And then in between the new hire tasks also, we can define when to get triggered, and the onboarding participant. Okay. In case any of the other HR people or admin people, they can actually, they'll receive the notifications. Hey, so and so candidate joining, get ready, laptop, get ready. So these onboarding participants, they'll get the notifications. And new hire, what they do, receive this pre-day one access, which means I told you, right, there is a welcome email to log into the portal and to reset the password and to log in on the SuccessFactors platform and to provide the personal details, and then followed by the onboarding tasks, whichever we triggered, right, using that create new hire tasks concept. Those tasks they can see. And HR administrators, once all the personal data, additional data, everything is collected on the joining day, they'll hire the candidate into the organization employee. And the employee, once the becomes an employee, they'll receive those notifications, those login concepts, etc., etc. This is what it is. Okay. So that's the process flow. Now, as I mentioned, you must also have some kind of dependent module understanding. I already gave you is this. Okay. So let's say, so this is within the, onboarding. Now, onboarding to, I mean, let's say the source module from recruiting to onboarding, what is that usually that, happens? That what is that you're supposed to understand? Guys, here I'm only giving you the intro of this. In detail, we are going to go and work in our sessions, not to worry. And every concept that I covered, it takes at least 1 day, 2 day, I mean, at least 1-2 sessions to cover each topic. Not to worry, everything we are going to cover. So if I go back to the system, let's say, uh, if how this recruiting module would be, same in the from the home menu. This is where from the recruiting that see this access, whomever that we are going to give the access, only those people they'll see this, not everybody can see this. We can control that. This is how the recruiting module would look like. So this is the job requisitions. How many requisitions are there? Okay, these many requisitions. This is it. These are all the job requisitions. These many positions are there. So how many candidates are there for each requisition? What is the code? What is the position number? Who are the recruiters for each requisition? For which location? Which company? For example, let's say IBM is there, IBM India is there, IBM Solutions is there, IBM Private Limited is there, like different legal entities, different companies. So how many people, etc., what is the status, everything, that this is how the recruitment people would see. So when you click on this, on the list of candidates, this all blue color is there, right? This we call it as pipeline. I mean the recruiting people. So okay, they'll have the access pipeline. So once candidate applies for the opportunity, this is where in the each box that they're going to see. So in the new application state, after that they schedule the interviews, screening, shortlisting happens. After that, interviews, first level, second level, interview 1, interview 2. Once everything is done, this is offered. After creating apps, accepted, rejected, and everything. Once all this is done, the candidate would be available in the onboarding state. So here, okay, in the onboarding state, the recruiting people, they'll come back. There is a candidate called Nikhil Janath. They'll come, and then in the actions, there is an option called initiate onboarding C. This is where recruiting people would initiate. So in our classes, what are we going to cover? I'm showing you the screen over here. So challenges, I'll tell you. For example, your onboarding consultant. Recruiting has been implemented well and before. You may not have anybody around you. So Shivakat people, we don't just only talk about this onboarding, and then we don't leave you guys just like that. So you must know to whom this initiate onboarding permission has been given, for which recruiter. You must know that. If you have to troubleshoot that, you must have at least some kind of amount of, some amount of understanding in the recruiting. So to whom that they've given the access. There is a concept called managed templates, because there are recruiting not like our onboarding. There are certain templates. Okay, what are those templates? Recruiting people, recruiting consultants, they'll configure this. There's a XML coding, JRDM, job requisition data model, CDM. Okay, this is like the candidate application data model, CPT, candidate profile, offer details. There are 4 XMLs from the backend system provisioning. They'll upload that. They'll configure the fields, everything over there. So if somebody is not familiar with the coding, in the front end also there is an option to configure the fields. Talent pipeline and statuses. This is the screen I'm showing. This all blue color screen is there, right? So this is called the talent pipeline. And the status, each box is called each status. Where is the candidate in, which step the candidate in, which status that the candidate in, everything that they can get to know. Okay, and how are we going to connect? I already told you. Okay, recruit to hire data mapping. This is the integration tool that we are going to map the fields. What are all fields available in recruiting? Any data. The beauty of SuccessFactors suite, I can tell you guys, once the data is entered in any place, they don't have to re-enter that information nowhere in SuccessFactors. Just underline it. That is why the SuccessFactors is the biggest hit in the market, is that everything is automated. No double time entry nowhere. Let's say in recruiting, first name, last name, email ID, mobile number, national ID details, or in some companies they'll collect address details also, everything, right? All those details we can map it. Let's say, for example, address that they entered. So these are the, so now EC fields and onboarding fields are common now, because now onboarding 2.0 has come onto EC platform. So that is why with the EC field, we are going to map it from recruiting templates. You see JRDM, job requisition, candidate application, job offer template. From this, which field, what is the field that you're going, let's say maybe a job requisition template, you're mapping some kind of some manager field or something, let's say something, or some legal entity you're mapping, this how the company. So same data will come and sit in the company field in employee central and onboarding. Simple. Likewise, you'll map all the fields over here. Okay, and then with the permissions, the recruiting people, that to whom that they've given the permission. recruiters some button permissions or some kind of screen permissions or some kind of feature permissions, everything. Okay, so even though if you're not aware of the recruiting model understanding also, no problem. In your company there, let's say the whole success factors practice would be available, which means there are a bunch of consultants for every module: recruiting, compensation, PMGM, onboarding, employee central, everything. Okay, so you can take the help from that consultant. If not, our understanding, Shiva Acad, we are gonna get you at least the basic understanding, some 30-40% of recruiting understanding also we are gonna give you in detail. For example, let's say, where do they configure GRD? Where do they configure CDM? What do they configure? What do they do? Where they provide the permissions. If you know everything, you don't have to contact anybody. You don't have to depend on anybody. Okay, the pipeline, etc., everything. So even if this one, if you miss also, because we are gonna share documentation after every session. Okay, and in detail, even if you miss some, because while listening something, maybe our mind goes here and there, because that's a common factor in any of the human the psychology. So the document will help you to go through. We'll give you the recording. You can always go back and then refer to the recording also. Even if these all options doesn't work also, there are many portals, there are many SAP communities, there are many blogs, WhatsApp groups, everything, okay, which is available. We can always go back and then do that. So in detail we are going to cover in the classes. Now, employee central. Okay, onboarding to employee central. Recruiting is a source system. Onboarding is in the middle. Target system is employee central. Data comes from recruiting, and extra more data will be collected in onboarding, personal details, etc., additional details, etc. And after that, on the joining day, the data will go and sit in employee central, that is payroll system. Okay, so guys, initial stage way back in 2021, something like that, employee central certification was not mandatory for the onboarding to consultants. Please note that now, along with onboarding 2.0 certification, you must also do employee central core certification for that. These two certifications. Why? Because 1.0 was a third party application. Okay, so if you are certified in 1.0, that is more than enough. So 2.0 SAP, they completely removed this onboarding 1.0, got this 2.0 into picture. Now they built this application on BizX, which means their own SuccessFactors platform. BizX means Business Execution Suite. Don't think that, if you're not familiar with the word, don't get confused. It's very simple. What is Business Execution Suite? The whole complete SuccessFactors platform, okay? And the engine is called the complete, the Business Execution Suite. So since they got all the functionality over there, that is the reason why that employee center also they made it mandatory. Because if you do not know the employee central concepts, onboarding 2.0 implementation is quite tough, to be frank. Okay, but don't worry, that is why you guys are here. Trust me guys, by the time you complete the onboarding 2.0 session, you will get 3 modules understanding. That is your bonanza offer. Recruiting, you'll get understanding, very good understanding. It's not that only basic, very good understanding you'll get it, at least like 50% understanding you would get it. And onboarding 2.0 the complete, of course, that's our main motto now, main topic. And employee central also, even there, by the time you complete this onboarding 2.0 training, employee central also 50-60%, 70% you would be perfect, except those some kind of calculations, salary related configs, etc., etc. Okay, so this is the one. So now if the dependent model understanding, being onboarding consultant, if you're supposed to know, even in the employee central also, there are, same like our recruiting, there are 4 data models. Succession, data model is nothing but simple guys, where we maintain the fields, where we create the fields in a platform called, okay, that's actually a data model. That's an XML code that they would use it in this. Okay, so same likewise recruiting, they have succession, which means all the candidate related informations, everything will be maintained over here. Employee related. Corporate means all the company related information. For example, there's divisions, departments, legal entities, etc., etc. And country specific, which means country wise also. These are the main data models, 2, succession and corporate. The next 2 country specifics are nothing but, because each country, for example, address fields in our India only, for example, street 1, street 2, mandal, post, and district, state. But wherein in US, if you go, they have bounties, or they have something else. something like that. So likewise, the fields may be different. In such cases, country specific data models, the EC people that they're going to use it. I'm going to give you a complete understanding. What does this data model, how to upload them, where do they upload, and what is the pattern of uploading that, what changes they do, EC people, I'm going to get you for that. And there are certain jobs in the provisioning. For example, let's say after uploading all these XML templates in the backend system, front end, if the data has to be visible, there are certain jobs to run just for the syncing between backend and front end. What jobs? And there is a EC, once they upload all the templates, right? That XML templates. Okay. So all the data is going to be available over here. There is a tool called Manage Business Configuration. This is an Employee Central screen. So this is where all the, for example, for candidates, person info, okay, or personal info, or phone info, email. See, this is what it is: country of birth, date of birth, etc. All these fields, where are they coming from? There is a backend. There is a XML, the data model which has been uploaded. How those XMLs would look like, I'll show you in the sessions. Don't worry. Okay. So this is how the, for example, let's say compensation related information, emergency related information, global info, job info, everything, all that information that you upload from the backend will be available. So just to sync this data between backend and front end, we run certain jobs. Okay, the jobs also we will discuss. And easy people, they say foundation objects, MDF objects, what are they? Okay, this one also in detail we will talk about. There is a tool called manage data. Okay, in this managed data, all the data which has been available over here, all the, there are certain standard objects, etc. Everything, that, we using the screen that you would be, what EC people are doing and what our onboarding people are, why we have to refer to the screen, what do we do in detail, they are gonna cover that up. Document management. Okay, there are two screens actually where we prepare the forms and everything. The storage, there is a concept called manage documents. This is the storage place. So the SAP is giving some somewhere around some 500 GB or something. So this is where all the details, the data is going to come and then get stored over here. Okay, so here, even if easy understanding, if you are not aware of it, also one thing we are gonna covering over here, Employee Central, whichever is dependent for our onboarding 2.0 module, everything I'm not gonna even leave a single topic, everything I'm gonna cover it. Okay, this one will help you. You don't have to depend on Employee Central people. If not, again, in your SuccessFactors practice wing in your own company, there are consultants, you can take their help. Even in the market also, once you become consultant, there are certain groups, blogs, communities. If you are part of it also, you can post your query always and they'll try to answer that. That is also no problem. But by the time you complete this training, you don't have to depend on anybody. All this once you would be able to do it. Recruiting understanding, easy understanding and everything. Okay, next one, standalone onboarding. I gave you an example in the beginning. Let's say some customers, they might not have bought the licenses for recruiting, they might not have bought the licenses for the Employee Central. Standalone onboarding, that they only onboarding that they have some challenges, so they took this up, they bought this application from SAP, they bought the licenses. So in such cases, for standalone onboarding, you don't have EC people, you don't have RSM people, but the EC RSM, that's okay. However, it is standalone, you don't have to worry about it. They'll manually add the candidate. So you may have a doubt, if it is standalone, where are the how will the candidates come from? There is a screen called, tool called add new recruit, add new hire to onboarding. Okay. Okay, this is where they'll add the candidates manually. Okay, because standalone, right, they don't have any source module in picture. So they'll add the candidates first name, last name, email ID, hire date, etc. Whoever are joining, and from there onwards, our onboarding steps. What are our steps? Revenue hire data, personal data collection, additional data collection, document flow, complaints, tasks. All these steps are going to be triggering accordingly as per the designing that we do. Okay, so even for mini-mash enablement, since onboarding 2.0 is built on Employee Central platform, we ourselves have to configure the data models. Okay, that XML areas. So for that, you don't have to configure. We have, SAP is offering you the standard data models. Simply download them, upload from the backend. There is a pattern of uploading. Okay. So how to upload everything in the sessions that we're going in detail. and how to create the jobs and sync them. And this manage business configurations in just now, we have seen on that manage business configuration, how to separate the fields from employee central to onboarding. So you can keep some fields from onboarding, some fields from employee central, how to separate them, how to create them. And basic employee profile, you may have a doubt if employee central license is not there, they only opted for onboarding licenses, how will it? So there is a candidate profile. For example, let's say some candidate names, this, let's say there is a candidate, this it's not candidate, employee, I should not call it as candidate, this is employee, right? So there is a data. So with regards to this employee, personal data, job data, compensation, time, and everything. So you may not have the full profile if you don't have the employee central, only minimal data that is going to be available. What is, for example, personal info or job info, organizational info, position info, address, etc., etc. There are certain in detailed informations which is available, so that we'll discuss in the classes. So such informations may not be available, so there is a standalone onboarding limited. This is called employee profile. Okay, limited profile, basic employee profile understanding. Not a complete HRIS record may not be available. Some kind of ineffective dated entities may not be available, something like that. So document management, how to configure this managed document, compliances, add new recruit onboarding. Just now I've shown you screen, this one. So not only with onboarding standalone, this onboarding can be integrated with the third party systems. Let's say recruiting application is not there for the customer you're implementing. They may be using some PeopleSoft software. There are many private recruiting tools available in the market. So if the customer has that, we can integrate that to this, onboarding, something like that, so that manually they don't have to create the candidates. So for that, there is a mechanism. We use, certain APIs. We use certain CPI, integration consultants are required, CPI consultants, that they try to connect our SuccessFactors system. So what information we should support to the integration consultants, what to be passed, how to prepare the sheets, etc., etc., we can give it. So this is the complete onboarding picture, guys, and depend module understanding. So offboarding also, as I gave you, there is also domain process over here. Usually in the offboarding, what is that domain process? Usually when you decide to leave the company, this is where your offboarding process gets started. You will send a resignation to the manager's HRBP. Manual, what happens? They may forget to check the emails. HR people, they may forget it. You yourself manually have to go them in person, talk to them. Hey, I sent you an email. Hope you guys might not have got time to see that. Please could you check, approve, so that my routine notice period would be running. And after that, the HR people would be tracking everything on the Excel sheets. So people would not get to know when the last day of the guy, and when the last day of this candidate, of this employee. Until the last day, no KT sessions will be planned, no exit interviews will be planned, no due clearances, for example, from the admin teams or the finance teams or anybody. Okay, IT teams, no due clearance, etc. These are all challenges. So in our SuccessFactors offboarding 2.0, so we have, same for same like onboarding, we have these steps: manager review, offboarding review, document signature, offboarding process. There are certain engaging tasks, etc., etc. In detail, we can talk about it in the session. So with our SuccessFactors, onboarding, offboarding 2.0 application, we can avoid all these hiccups. Everything can be automated. Okay. Of course, there are some challenges, in that, even because onboarding 2.0 still it is developing. There are certain functionalities may not be possible also, but for that we can make some workarounds, some customizations. We can talk to SAP, we can have expert chart with SAP, we can take the inputs from them, we can implement it. If something is not possible, we can share the same notes to the customer. Hey, there is a feature which is not being possible, so don't worry, SAP is going to make it. Maybe in future you're going to get it. So when using your support agreements, you can get the feature implemented, something like that. Okay, so this is the offboarding process. Same likewise, even for the offboarding also, in the process variant manager screen. So this is a process variant manager. Even for offboarding also, just now I've shown you steps, right? See, manager review employee information, uh, offboarding tasks, manager review, employee review, both. Why these reviews are required? If there is any forms to be signed using the document flow, you can get it done, something like that. So this is what has been done. So the manager review is nothing but once the HR people, they terminate the employee in Employee Central, there will be a notification. There may be some workflow also, because terminating it, right? The manager should approve, HR should approve, something like that. So once that is done, this termination will be scheduled in the job information. So now after termination, using the business rules, we can trigger the offboarding immediately. This manager review will be triggered. It will go to manager. Hey, so and so employee is leaving. This is his last working day. This is his department. This is his location. He is leaving. Manager reviews it, accepts, and go to offboarding. Whoever is the employee that who resigned. So offboarding will review that. Hey, your approval is being done. These are your details. This is your last working day, etc., etc. Offboarding will review that. They'll click on it. If any documents in place, they'll just go through and then sign. Notifications will be sent, and they can accordingly click on those links and get that done, and signature process. And in between, using the tasks just now I've shown for onboarding, right? You can send a farewell message to the offboarding, and you can announce this termination to all the co-workers who are working along with the offboarding. You can schedule the meetings, that exit interview, etc. Knowledge transfer, you can automate it. So system will take care of it. It will send automatically as per the designing that you have done, as per the configurations that you have done, as per the customizations that you have done. You can set the due dates, you can send the reminders, everything. Assets also, you can take it back, the laptops or the cards or anything. Okay. So list of assets to be returned, and tracking of the returning of the assets, etc., etc. This is what is the offboarding process. Guys, in between any queries, you can always stop me. Of course, at last we will keep some time for queries. Don't worry. Crossboarding 2.0. This is, guys, don't think offboarding 2.0 is different. Crossboarding 2.0. This is all within the package of onboarding 2.0. Okay. So crossboarding 2.0 is nothing but whenever, for example, an employee is getting transferred from one location to another. Let's say he's working in India and the organization has decided to move to Dubai. So why crossboarding is required? In Dubai, what happens is that because their local onboarding process is different, right? Their forms is different. When they're working in that country, you'll have to sign on their forms. You'll have to provide certain details, some work permit related information, whatnot, everything. So that is the reason why, again, this for that location, that onboarding will be triggered. Their HRs will be, talking to them. That application would be interacting with this guy. Okay. So this crossboarding, it can happen directly from the employee central. Okay. By clicking on change or job information, there is a link using that. That's one. If not, usually this crossboarding would happen from recruiting module also. In detail, we'll discuss it. Don't worry. So but the steps are common. Crossboarding, see here it is same. Review new hire data, something like that, and personal data collection. Same. This is all common. Usually, additional paperwork, etc., etc. Here also there are certain tasks available. Okay. Welcome message you can send, and the schedule meetings. How the first day is gonna be there. But it's nothing but onboarding only. But only thing is that though he's an employee, but he's being onboarded in some other location. Again, definitely all that hiccups, gaps should be taken care by somebody, right? That somebody is our onboarding application. So that using that application, crossboarding can be done. Same process. You can use this forms concept, legal forms concept, compliances concept, data collection process for their country. Everything can be done using crossboarding step. And even from any of the third-party ATS also. ATS is nothing but application tracking system. Simple logic, same like recruiting model. If they have some other application tracking applications, something like systems, something like that, even from there also you can trigger the crossboarding. Okay. So this is completely the domain process, hiccups, challenges, and how we are gonna overcome that with SuccessFactors onboarding, offboarding 2.0 application. Okay. Finally, within our SuccessFactors onboarding application, what are we going to do? Which means typically now, how do we design this application? This is where it is. So guys, directly I can tell you what do we do and everything. You go to the screen, you do this, and you enable this, something like that. But here in SuccessFactors, we will try to give everything with the concepts. We have designed like this. See, now first one, just to enable this SuccessFactors onboarding application within the SuccessFactors system, there are certain switches, boxes in the provisioning backend system. You will have to enable those boxes, tick the boxes on whichever is respective to the onboarding 2.0. I can simply say there are buttons there in the provisioning you'll have to enable. No, I named it as switches, buttons. When you enable that, in the front end system, Now from the home menu, you are seeing onboarding, and even in the top search bar, we are giving certain tabs, right? All that onboarding tabs, we are searching for it, and those tools are coming. Everything, all those tools, everything is going to be enabled from the front end when you enable the switches. Okay. Now, in the onboarding application, you are supposed to capture the data, right? So for that, where do we create the fields? For that, there is a concept called data models from the backend, that succession, corporate succession data model, corporate data model, country specific succession data model, country specific corporate data model. Using these four data models, that is where we will be creating the fields. Guys, you may idea this data model XMLs, we are not aware. SAP has already made it, from the front end also. Once you upload the standard data models, you come back to the front end called that manage business configuration screen, and you can make the model. That is where you create the fields. See, clear? You're enabling the switches, back end, front end, fields. You're creating from manage business configuration screen. So now there are many stakeholders in the process, right? What are those stakeholders? Let's say recruiters, HR people, managers, onboarding coordinators. So you should divide that access, who should see what. There is an engine called RBP. Okay. There are permission roles, permission groups. Each group we will try to add the people. Those group of people, what set of permissions they should have, we will create. There is an engine called two navigations are there: manage permission roles, manage permission groups. Permissions, this is where we are going to handle. Now, conditions. Customers will ask you, hey, for this country I want this, for other country I don't want it. Or in the same India only, I have different departments. For this department I want this process. I want only review new hire, onboarding, personal data. I don't want additional onboarding data collection. And for the finance department, accounts department is the first option. For the finance department, I don't want review new hire data. I want personal data collection directly, additional document flow. That is enough for me. So to maintain these variations, there is a concept called business rules that create. You may have an idea, sir, we have not maybe created never how to do that. It is dead easy. I will make it easy. If it is not easy for you, I will make it easy for you. Unless it is not like our old classroom type of teaching, that whether you understand or you don't understand, I'll move forward. Not like that. Unless you feel satisfied, unless you get convinced with that concept, I will try to keep on giving you the examples for that. And I will try to highlight those. I mean, from the Shiva Academy, we will try to give you the concepts with that. Not to worry. Next, notifications. So every step, let's say candidate is now initiated onboarding, there is a information which will get passed to the certain people. Candidate is available on onboarding, to the manager it will go information. Okay. And let's say first step completed, there is again information to the onboarding participants. Second step completed, information, laptop information, whatnot, everything, meetings, everything. There are notifications. I already shown you email services screen. In that, using that notifications, we will configure. Okay. So data collection steps, actually, where do we configure? So there is a process variant manager screen. Just now I've shown you. You can maintain the variations, country wise, department wise, division wise, whatnot. I want these steps for this process. I want the other steps for the other process. So you can alter it. In detail, we will talk about those process steps. We will configure in process variant manager. Next, engaging activities. So onboarding dashboard, the moment I click on onboarding, there is a dashboard I've shown you. In that dashboard, this you can see all the tasks, what is candidate, what activities that is going through, what has been filled, to whom it has been assigned, everything. Next, all the onboard related forms. We have two concepts: document flow, compliance. Using both these forms will be configured. Storage. Where do you get all this collected documents? You think that it is getting stored. There is a concept called manage document. This document management repository, everything will go and sit in over there. Okay. Signatures on the forms. There is two concepts: embedded, DocuSign. I already told you. Finally, that conversion, candidate conversion, and happens, there is a tool called manage pending records. Manage pending hires. In this, you are going to see after all the onboarding process gets completed, the candidate will be available on the joining day on the screen. You can make it automatically converted that candidate into employee. If not, people, whoever the HR people, whoever is going to have the access, they can come back and then click on hire. For example, let's say nobody draft 75. Let's say they can select the module from the top right side corner with this drop down menu. And here in this, the candidates will be available. They'll come back and there is a button called hire. I mean, they'll click on all the information collected throughout the modules. The HR people can see that only with respective to the access that you have given. So this is so every data will be nothing to be filled. Every data automatically be present. Simply see, this is a demo system. Don't get stick to this because a lot of experiments would happen. Click on continue. Finally, click on submit and hire. Now candidate will get converted as an employee. Okay, guys, this is the complete understanding along with this onboarding 2.0, offboarding, crossboarding features and everything. See the previous screen also. I have divided into concepts, storage, fields where we configure, forms where we configure, signatures, what do we do, onboarding process variations, where do we maintain. That's how. Along with this, the other features like story reporting, which SAP has made it available through the people analytics, how to configure that. And for that, there is a dependent called this IAS and IPS config now to connect our SuccessFactors system with the people analytics system. So this is authentication and then there's a provisioning services how to configure. And there is a concept called integration center also. Of course, this one mostly used by the integration people, but still, what will they do to integrate certain stuff using this integration center? We'll talk about it. And SuccessFactors to, let's say, from onboarding, the information is not going to employee central because the customer has some other payroll system, third party, Oracle HRMS, something like that. We can integrate that or onboarding to their payroll system. And goals integration, learning integration. For example, when the candidate is in the serving notice period, when they're filling up the information, right? Some organization, they'll try to give small goals. And for that, PMGM consultant help is definitely required over here. For example, let's say there is a policy document. Before they come for joining, they can complete that policy document walkthrough. You can create that as a goal. Learning integration. What is learning integration? Let's say some courses you can give through LMS module. So that also you can integrate our onboarding with PMGM system or onboarding with the learning system. You can integrate it, but with the help of integration, consultants at the same time with the help of PMGM consultants. Next, hire, internal hire, rehire. So what is this? Is nothing but hiring is our same normal pattern. Internal hire is nothing but that crossboarding, internal hire. Rehire, let's say candidate worked for some time, the data is available in SuccessFactors. After some time, he come back and then he'll rejoin after 6 months, 1 year after he worked with some other company. So in that case, they don't have to refill the information. So there are certain checks that the system would identify and automatically, hey, this candidate is already in the system. You want me to get that data back, you can get it. So how to configure that rehire? These features also we are going to cover it apart from everything, the one that I mentioned. Finally, guys, I don't know. I mean, I should not, talk about my way of thing, how it is, looking for you. So from Shibacad, so we are gonna provide you the training. We are all, I mean, the team that what we have, we are purely real-time certified consultants only. You are gonna get the access to our content, for example, recording after every session, material, step by step. So system access 24/7, you're going to have it. And live system and live scenarios also. The live system is nothing but the demonstration, the one you can practice, the live scenarios. So we are going to provide you after every session that how to practice, what to do and everything. Then the demonstration system access that you're going to get the access for your complete training period of time. And materials, the one that I gave you, along with the recording material after every class. And when you're at the project, now let's say maybe you may be beginner, you may be new to onboarding. So if you are at the project system, I can definitely make you behave like an experienced consultant at the project team. Trust me. Because what kind of challenges, what kind of questions they'll ask, how you should go ready over there with the project documentation, the behaviors, challenges, everything. Interview guidance. We are going to provide you certain questions in the interview. So if you're aware of the concept, how to answer and how to remember this, because I'm going to give you concepts easily. You don't have to remember those words, etc. Only concept you remember, the story. And interview questions we are going to give, and what are the interview challenges. If you're not aware of the concept, how to cover that topic, everything, that one. And resume preparation also, that how I will give you some sample resumes, how to prepare and everything, etc. Certifications. The certifications, Employee Central 2.0, and then Onboarding 2.0. In the recent past, that certification mechanism also has been changed. It's very easy. They're going to give you the tools over there. You can search for the information. It's like an open book theory. They'll give you the book, you search for the answer, you provide it over there. So how to get that done? Okay. So we are going to give you all the details over there. So guys, this is the demonstration session for onboarding 2.0 today. Hope you guys thoroughly enjoyed the session, every concept. If you say that, yes, Chaitanya, after the session, I can easily, if I have to talk with somebody about this onboarding, just like in snaps that I can talk about it. If you say that, I'm more than happy from Shiva Acad. So this is it, guys. For any queries related to training program, or hours time, or any access related, any material related, any questions, please call on this number, talk to our team. Okay. So thank you so much for your complete this 1.5 hour, your patience and everything. Hope you enjoyed the session. Now it is questions time. One after one, you can raise your hand. We'll discuss everything in detail, guys. Clear? Yes, no? Guys, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Cool, cool. Okay. So how is the session? See, just like just because that I asked you, so don't say that. Give the genuine opinions. So how do you feel?
Yeah, it was a good session. And yet, uh,
Mhm.
you haven't mentioned the other system like HCM, how onboarding will integrate with HCM, because HCM is playing a key role when it comes to payroll and
Mhm.
OMPA,
Mhm.
such modules. So if we get those information also, that would be very helpful and
No, no.
informative.
So you might have missed certain things. Say this is SF to HRIS. This is the HCM. I gave you an example. So success factors too. Let's say if employee central is not there,
Mhm.
and some other, so let's say SAP HCM or Oracle HCM or some other PeopleSoft, the customer has something else, their platform, their core, their some ADP, something like that. So
Mhm.
SF2 third party payroll system, that's called SAP HCM. SAP HCM is one
Got
of it. Okay, how to get it integrated? So within our sessions, let's say using some APIs and some CPI functionalities, for example, onboarding TAs, ATS, and everything with the integration consultants, what we are going to do in details in the classes, we are going to get to know.
Great, great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Questions,
Hi,
guys,
Chaitanya.
you can ask. Yeah, hi.
Yeah, hi, Chaitanya. So yeah, it's a very interesting session, and
Thank you.
yeah, and regarding the new enhancement of 2026, are you going to cover all those things as well? Because during the interviews, most of the panel they asked about this, new enhancements, what is done
See,
recently.
usually once in 6 months, like now the enhancement is being planned twice in a year. So
Mm.
once in 6 months, for every module, there are enhancement. Whatever the training that we are providing you, right from the old features to the new features, no new features, we are gonna cover that up. Definitely in the enhancements, whichever has come. Don't worry, we are gonna discuss about it. See, I would always highlight the people to stick to the practical stuff. Actually, nobody in this world is perfect. I myself, I don't have that proud. I myself would agree. So if any new feature, something might have come, for example, let's say the present implementation which I'm doing, maybe I might not have gone through the new feature, but definitely I'm going to keep an eye on everything, whatever happens within this onboarding 2.0. So definitely I'm going to provide that understanding on that thing. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else, guys? Any queries? If no queries, no problem. But yeah, so we can sign off, for the day. And please talk to our people on this number 7659836866.
Sorry, Chaitanya. I have
Yeah,
one more query. Sorry.
yeah, yeah.
So I have
Please
one
go
more
on.
query. So, like EC on the very first day, uh, though EC consultants have kind of activities, right? So,
Mhm.
uh, so in onboarding, do you have such kind of activities like what on the very first day, what the a consultant have to do?
No, I didn't get you. Where is this first day? On the training or on the project place?
Project on the very first day
Oh,
in the
okay, okay.
project.
Yeah, yeah. See, not first day. You should be well prepared when you talk to the customer. For example, your project document is the scope document, if you call it as. What you should have an idea, complete a target that these are the only features that our sales team has committed. So we should only talk about those features. And let's say maybe before you go to the customer, you can get to know what their customers will do. In the scope document, what are their challenges they would only maintain. So maybe you should go through and then well prepared. And you should keep your workbooks ready, those sample workbooks, when you're gathering the requirements to note down everything. And when you're talking to them, there is a current state as is process. We call it as current state process, future state process, which means you'll have to document their current system, their current onboarding process, what they are doing, who are the stakeholders, how they are following, because company to company it is always different. So you'll have to design a document with the current state process, make them understood, and then within our SuccessFactors onboarding application, how you are designing that, those activities, how you are replacing using our application with the future state process. We are gonna design that and then show them. Once everything is done, and then we will start collecting the requirements, who does what, which features that we are enabling, etc., etc. For everything, you'll have to be well ready, at least like a week before, something like that. You should be ready with all this documentations, everything. So even we are going to provide an understanding for onboarding project. What are the challenges? How you should walk into the project team, guys. What questions will be asked? Everything. So this we can discuss.
And regarding the access, the consultant access, is it like the same access how we are going to raise it for EC? Is it the same you follow up here for
Same wise,
onboarding?
but you should have this certifications to onboarding 2.1, and then Employee Central, go to HCM Cloud Ops, and then there we are going to raise. I'll show you that how to raise those access to the backend system and front end system.
Okay. Yeah, and are we going to discuss one more thing like the transport tool, like in how the development the changes move to one environment?
Moving, yes,
Yeah,
one system to
one.
another, every feature moving, and every functionality moving, and how to raise a request to SAP to make the instance refresh, instance synchronization, etc. Yes, we're going to
Yeah.
discuss about it.
Okay, Chaitanya. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it from my end. Yeah, thanks.
thank you, thank you. Anyone else, guys? Guys, other people? Yes, no?
Hi Chaitanya, how many hours duration is the training?
Usually it is like 35 to 40, not more than that. You
Okay,
got it?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Other people? Anyone? See, how I look at it is that instead of here and there, yeah, that's okay. Sometimes it gets extended also if the concept is not been understood, something like that. So I'll just because until the basic concepts you are clear, I'll take more time. After that, we can go on with at least its own pace. I can say that. Anyone else, guys? Okay, people, then if we do not have any queries, no problem. Maybe you may be far from the system also. So you guys can call on this number. Any questions, any queries, anything related to the, uh, this training related stuff, you can always talk to our team members. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. It was very good interaction with you all. Have a wonderful rest of the weekend ahead. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Chetan.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all. Thank you.